Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today I wanted to break down the trailer for the next episode of The Last of Us. After a pretty damn good episode this last week, seeing more into the history of Isaac and just where his little rebellion or little freedom fighters or whatever you want to call them started. And also, like I mentioned in my review, which I will have up here shortly, but seeing that little cameo from Josh Peck, I mean, you don't see him in a lot of things. He's got his own stuff going on, but seeing someone from the 90s and everything pop up in this random little role, I thought that was pretty fun, and I really enjoyed that. And it took me a minute to realize who that was. But going into the next episode, we see that Dina and Ellie are very much going to continue on their mission of revenge after setting up shop in the theater. So I'm really excited with it. So we're going to jump right into the trailer breakdown for this one. And it opens up with, in my opinion, is a very beautiful shot. I really enjoy the way they were able to accomplish the scenery that they've got going on with the overgrowth of the buildings and just the decay of the buildings and the cars and everything. It's just I really enjoyed that they have this so much attention to detail and everything. It's just made it much more believable and much more enjoyable as a show where you can really get immersed in the world. So I really enjoy just all the work that they put in, all the effort they put in for this kind of stuff. So you can tell that they really care. So it really sets it apart from some shows that might not take as much time or put as much effort into just the details. So I really appreciate that from this show. But we have a voiceover as the first part of this trailer is going, where Dina's saying, "I'll go back if you want. I will go. I will keep going if you want." So we can see that the devotion is there with Ellie and Dina, that they really care about each other, that they've hit this new milestone in their friendship and their newly formed romantic relationship and everything. And Dina coming to realization that she doesn't have to be with boys or girls; she can choose and she can be herself, which is really nice. And seeing that just how deeply she cares about Ellie, so I really like that. And we just get another shot here of them just making their way through the ruins of Seattle and just probably being on the lookout, considering that they've already had a run in with the WLF once before in this last episode. So I'm sure they're extra cautious and everything, and they're looking for anything that can point in that direction because they have to make their way to that hospital. And I know at some point they probably should get separated, but I feel like Dina should have stayed back too. But I can't remember the exact details because it's been so long since I played the game. But going next on, we just have a shot of Ellie here. Moving on, now we get this woman who showed up in the flashback of last episode. I don't think we have a name for her yet, but she is someone that wanted to join Isaac's cause and realizing that he had a reputation, even though he was Fedra at one point, that she and this large group of people somehow got word that he's forming his own thing or just something that's out there in the world, word of mouth, at this point, because that's all that anybody's really got. But that they come to him and she's like, are you Isaac? And he just goes into this different mode, this different demeanor. Where he's like, okay, it's time to really go full throttle with this. And then he turns on his Fedra soldiers and kills them. So it was really interesting to see that. And I'm excited to learn more about her. What is her relationship to Isaac? Where did she come from? Will they give us any really background of who she was before, just how she came to know about Isaac? Then we just get another shot of her. She's wanting to gather forces because they realize that something else is in the works. But I imagine too, maybe one or two people made it back from everything that happened with Ellie and Dina, and they're reporting back to them and saying there's these people that we run into. They killed a bunch of our soldiers, blah blah blah. So they're really gearing up for this particular thing, and because we know that if you played the game, and I spoilers ahead, but Dina and Ellie do get captured at some point. And I wonder if they're going to play it out similarly like that, where they're going to have them actually be captured by people that were there the day that Joel was killed. But we just get another shot here. This looks like Dina, I'm pretty sure, shining a light down a hallway, because I imagine her and Ellie do maybe get separated at some point or just something happens, because I know obviously Dina's not there for the big event in the basement of the hospital. So we got that going. But we have Ellie and Dina here. They're just taking cover, sneaking around, trying to make their way through this hospital. If this is in fact the hospital, it could just be another building too. But we get another inclusion of stalkers. Now, we saw them in the first episode. They are very, very stealthy and they're coordinated, and they just have a different level of intelligence, or just any sign of intelligence that the regular infected don't have. They are just charge and go at it, where the stalkers are really planned and organized, and they wait out their prey or what have you. and they take it to a different level. So, we're going to see multiple levels of infected this season, from what I understand, because, we've already seen bloaters, we've seen stalkers now, we've seen the regulars, we've seen runners and clickers and everything. So there's still a couple more levels they have to explore. I'm not 100% if they're going to cover them or not, or we're going to have to wait till next season. But they see these stalkers and they're like, oh, holy crap, because if there's more than one, they can coordinate around them and they can plan, and just, it's a very much different level of fear, because with clickers and everything else, they just charge at you. So you have time to kind of react a little bit, and you know that they're just going off base instinct. But with stalkers, they have a different set of, or a different mode of thinking when it comes to taking people out and infecting them. Then we get another throwback here with our Seraphites, where we're probably going to see a little bit more about them, because we get this next scene where they're hanging a WLF soldier. So more into their conflict, or just what caused it, or I don't know if we're going to get any more flashbacks, or just what's going on with there. But we know that they hate each other. Regardless of what's going on, they absolutely hate each other. They are trained. They are told, basically from birth or what have you, that they kill each other on sight. There's no questions, especially with WLF. We had them in the last episode where we had that one soldier, after they found the rest of their soldier buddies hanging from the ceiling, that they don't care if they're women, kids, doesn't matter. They will take them out. So we have to wonder where that really started, because we had that Seraphite that was being questioned by Isaac, saying, you have people leaving your cause every day to come and join us, and not the other way around. So just, it's all kinds of tension, and all kinds of just different things going on between these two groups. Then we have this soldier. This is probably another one from the flashback, I think, where we didn't really get a name, but she's someone that is probably in charge of planning and seeing different things, or looking over different things. But they have this voiceover saying, we have reports or whatever that you killed a bunch of your own soldiers, and she has to explain why. Well, this is where we get the introduction of spores, where they probably wandered into a spore infected area, and they were infected from then on, so they had to be put down. But we have this other scene where we have a soldier with a dog. Now, dogs played a big part in the second game too, where we had to navigate them and deal with them, and ultimately take them out when they pose a threat. Now, this is a big scene from the game. This is a whole segment where you have to chase down Nora, because after you confront Nora, she fights back, she gets away, and there's this whole part of the game where you have to run through the hospital, tracking her down, you know, hopping over walls, hopping through windows, just a whole part of the game where you're chasing her down. And this is where you end up in the basement, where we see what looks like Nora here. It's kind of a blurry shot, but we have her in an elevator shaft, and this is how she ends up in the basement in the spore infected area, because this is probably right after, because it looks like Ellie's in that same elevator shaft. So at some point, Nora ends up down there, and she is hiding, and she realizes that she's infected, and she just, at this point, she probably doesn't care. But we see Ellie wander into this area that is just full of overgrowth of tendrils and spores and just the fungus in general. And it's just a completely, uninhabited area, because we have that person who was talking about how it's in the air now, saying there's nothing down there. There's not even rats. So nothing can survive down there. Then we get this moment where we see this infected that is growing out of the wall, and it shoots out a cloud of spores. So it's going to be a very big moment, because in the game it was a big deal. It was a part of the advertisements and everything. I don't know if we're going to get that same kind of lighting. I think we do, because there's this whole red lighting from flares and whatnot. So there's a whole big moment coming with Nora, where she's going to be the first of the group that was responsible for Joel's death to be taken out. And that's what's going to, I think, set off the chain of events that alarms everybody else, where she tries to get info out of Nora, where's Abby and everything. So this next episode will actually be a pretty pivotal moment, where we may shift the focus a little bit. I don't know if they're going to play out the entire season from Ellie's point of view. It's something I kind of discussed in my last review, where we could possibly see the focus shift maybe in the last two episodes, where it's going to be telling everything from Abby's point of view, where we're going to see how she recovered, or how she dealt with everything that she did to Joel. And I imagine there's some trauma that comes with that, but just, she's probably throwing herself into the WLF and just everything that they're trying to accomplish. So I imagine these next few episodes are going to be pretty packed and pretty exciting. So I'm ready to see what's going on with these, and see how they play out, and see just if anything, if they change anything from the game, because you know they're going to throw little things in here and there, or take little things out to keep up the surprise and whatnot. But should be fun, and I'm really excited to see these last few episodes. It's a shame that it's a shortened season, but with it getting a third season, they will hopefully get that shot quicker rather than the last. We've had to wait 2 years for this next season, and or this current season, I guess. And so hopefully they get this next season shot, or they're in the progress, because I know they're actually supposed to jump into filming here rather soon. I think they're supposed to get it here in the next couple months. They're supposed to be gearing up to start that season 3. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed my breakdown of the trailer, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show and everything. And of course, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.